have no idea why I'm filming this video. I have been in a bit of a reading slump for like the entire summer. It is now September. Some people, fall is coming, not for me. It's still definitely summer. But I finally feel like I'm sort of getting out of that reading slump, which is really caused by my depression. Because sadly, because of my depression, I just don't feel like doing things that I enjoy. So that includes reading, which is slightly terrifying for me because I have never not enjoyed reading. I have never not wanted to read, and it's just hard for me to pick up a book, and so it's slightly scary. So I've been making some very interesting reading decisions lately, and I feel just like completely insane. I wanted to talk about them. So yeah, we're gonna do this. We do have some like carryovers from the last time I did this, which was like at the May, I think. We did this in May. Okay, so the first book is a holdover, is Tess of Dubervilles. Tess of the Dubervilles. No matter how many times I say this name or say that name or read this book, I will never know how to properly say it. Forgive me. But this is by Thomas Hardy. It is a classic. This is my favorite classic that I've read so far. It's made me cry. I am marking it. I'm loving it because I am seeing so much more than I ever saw the first time. Because the first time, it's a blur. I get the main points, but the rest of it's a blur. So with this one, I'm reading it like very randomly when I feel like picking up a classic and when I feel like paying really close attention to like really small details, because that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm like picking up on hints or like foreshadowing or looking at like double meanings to lines. So if I feel like doing a really close reading of a book, I will pick this one up. Only then. So the second holdover is 1Q84 by Haruki Murakami. This is a Japanese translated novel. It's kind of dystopian, thriller, sci-fi, mystery-esque with some romance in there. I am just barely past halfway through this book. I am on page 645. It is split up in like 3 different parts, I guess. I am in the second part. I have not been reading this very quickly. I started this in May, and it's just not going quick. I love it. It's a really good book. It's super weird though, and I think that's part of it, and it can get really dark, and I think a major part is it's really, really weird and very different from any book I've ever read. I do really like it. I'm not gonna quit it, but I haven't been reading it really quickly. I think part of it is just the enormous size of it is kind of daunting, so you don't feel like you're going too quick, and yeah, I do love it though. So yeah, I haven't been reading it lately, but I will be getting back to it soon. This is the second and last holdover for the books I am currently reading. So onto 2 books I've added recently.
Oh god, can I even get it out? Oh god. It's so big. Yay!
So the first book that I'm going to talk about is Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. This is the 4th book in the Throne of Glass series. I stopped reading these actually after I read Crown of Midnight, which is the 2nd book, because Crown of Midnight really disappointed me. Like, it was just really boring and slow, and I felt like it was mostly about the romance, and then a character dies and I did not care, and I was just like, I don't care, and it's horrible. But I'm actually listening to this off of Audible, so I'm listening to the audiobook, and that is honestly the only way I could get through these. I think part of it might have been I read Crown of Midnight right after I read Crooked Kingdom, and I loved Crooked Kingdom, so I just should have stopped and like read a contemporary or something. But yeah, I don't know if I would have loved it then, but it was just super disappointing after that. I have 7 hours and 54 minutes remaining on the audiobook, and I am in chapter 49. I am really liking this book. This is probably my favorite so far. Rowan is my bae. I love Rowan. I love cranky, angry princelings. They make me happy. I feel like I'm way behind on these, so I don't know. That is a recent book I recently added. I listen to it in the car when I'm driving to class, and I also listen to it sometimes when I am walking in between classes. So, I mean, I'm gonna be done with it pretty soon. Like, definitely this week. The last book that I've added. And this is where I completely acknowledge I make terrible choices in how I read books and like crazy decisions. I get desires to read a book, like in the middle of a book, but I'm pretty good about keep sticking to that book and then maybe going to the book next. The book I wanted to read next. But like, yeah, no, I've just like stopped disciplining myself. But the next book I am reading, the one I am reading the most right now, and that is A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. Yeah, this is the first book in the Song of Ice and Fire series. I love it. I am not that far into it. I'm on page 234. I love it. Seriously. And yes, I am in love with Jon Snow. How typical of me, but he's my baby. I love him. I feel creepy because he's really young in the book, but he's my bae. I love him. So that is the last book. I am completely loving it. And I said in the beginning that I haven't been able to read much. That book makes me so excited to read, and I love it because I haven't felt like that in forever. Like, I don't remember the last book I read that made me feel like that. So I just, like, I stay up reading it, and I would happily, like, spend all night reading that book because I love it so, so much. So this book has been very welcome, and I'm so happy I randomly, like, crazily decided, you know what, I am gonna start reading this even though I'm still in the middle of this thing, giant thing. Well, I haven't read a book that's made me feel like this in a long time, so I'm really happy I did pick it up. I don't know what other book could make me really excited to read again. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video if it goes up. I hope you're having an amazing day in life. Wherever you may be, everything to follow me is down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!